Another petition against Bongbong Marcos's presidential bid has been filed before the COMELEC. Just days after joining Lakas-CMD, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte is now the chairperson of the party. Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia declares One Cebu will not endorse Senator Manny Pacquiao. A study shows supporters of the administration are more likely to believe in fake news. And Miss Universe Philippines Beatrice Luigi Gomez is all set for the international stage. Focused and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte has accepted the offer of Senator Bong Revilla to become the chairman of Lakas-CMD. Mayor Duterte says she looks forward to waging a successful campaign for the, quote, Uniteam BBM Sara with the support of fellow Filipinos. Meanwhile, People's Reform Party has adopted the presidential daughter as their vice presidential bet for 2022. PRP Chairman Narciso Santiago Jr., widower of the former Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, said Mayor Duterte will likely continue the advocacies and principles of the late senator. Meanwhile, senatorial aspirant Harry Roque says he will be voting for Bongo and Sara Duterte next year. In an interview with 1PH sa Totoo Lang, Roque said that the Dutertes and Go expressed support for his senatorial bid.
Naghain ng aking kandidatura kung hindi po binigyan ako ng basbas at suporta ng kaparehong si President Duterte, si Senator Bongo at si Mayor Inday Sara.
Kasi
Solid po ang suporta nila. I'm all out po for Mayor Sara Duterte. So you can consider me as the convener of the Go Duterte movement.
Let's move on to some of the latest news from the Commission on Elections. In a series of tweets, COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon said 126 party list applicants have been denied. However, over 100 of them have filed their motions for reconsideration, and the poll body says they need to address all of this by December 6, since December 15 is the last day to prepare for the final list of candidates. Administration supporters are more likely to believe in fake news. That's according to the results of the survey conducted by Boses Pilipinas. And the survey found that the majority of the respondents are confident they can spot fake news, but only 14% of them passed the fake news quiz. For the COMELEC, fake news is strongly affecting their credibility as the poll body, but they admit that they have no power to punish fake news peddlers.
Hindi covered ng Fair Elections Act ang social media, not in the sense na, di ba, we still don't have a law. We don't have a law, no? We don't have a law to regulate the use of social media. Diyan nahirapan ang COMELEC kung paano maglagay ng guidelines.
ano po dyan, yung parang yung partisan bias. Siguro po kung talagang pinaniniwalaan niyo po na siya ng husto, so parang the tendency is not to look for other news. Meron po talagang malawak na disinformation networks na nagpapakalat po nito ng mga mali or yung mga baluktot na mga balita or mga information. So the key ingredient po ng disinformation is that they are malicious. They are intentional po. To create biases, to create to actually negate real news. So the target is also actually yung ating real news, but also yung ating mga media outlets. And so some of the sources were actually found to be also identified by groups close to the administration. The more that you actually flood people with the same kind of information, at yun lang po yung kanilang na nakikita, then that really has the effect of presenting those information as the truth, as the genuine, as the real news or as the real information.
presidential aspirant and Senator Manny Pacquiao is going all out to woo residents and officials from all over the country, especially in vote-rich areas like Cebu. But as early as now, Governor Gwen Garcia says One Cebu is not likely to ever endorse the senator. Mon Gualvez with a report.
Yellow pad in hand, Senator Manny Pacquiao made rounds at the Guadalupe Public Market in Makati on Wednesday. He took note of the situation and concerns of the vendors, as well as the prices of goods in the market. After this, the presidential aspirant went straight to Bulacan to speak with some pastors and local leaders. Pacquiao admits he wants his presence in these areas to help pull voters' preference toward him. This especially now that is lagging behind in surveys.
Nangampanya tayo by faith. By faith and sa ground natin sa mga tao. Totoo tayo, hindi tayo nagkikipagplastikan.
But in the vote-rich province of Cebu, which he visited for the third time last weekend, it seems like he did not leave too good of an impression among local officials. Unlike other candidates who frequented the province, Pacquiao has yet to have a chance to meet with Governor Gwen Garcia. The reason?
Nag-schedule kami ng maraming beses pero maraming hindi siguro nakatugma ang schedule namin last na kinansel ni Gob. Dahil busy daw siya.
The first time he came around, his people asked for an appointment. We set it. But then suddenly it was cancelled. I thought that it was because he had some other engagement that was that could not set aside. But then we found out that on the very day that he was supposed to come to the capital, he went ahead. He cancelled the appointment because he went to visit another opponent of mine.
Garcia said the province will still welcome Pacquiao anytime he wants to visit, but she stressed the senator will never get an endorsement from One Cebu. So who's likely to get the much-coveted endorsement?
Mayor Isko Moreno is being seriously considered by One Cebu. On the other hand, my son-in-law, Congressman Duke Frasco, is naturally sympathetic to Bongbong Marcos.
Still, Pacquiao is confident that he'll be able to deliver solid Visayas and Mindanao votes during the 2022 elections.
I'm sure yung mga Mindanaoan sa Visayas, mga Bisaya, masusulit ko naman siguro yun dahil pareho kami mga Bisaya. Siyempre, saan pa bubuto yung mga Bisaya sa kapwa Bisaya.
For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
A third petition calling for the cancellation of Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s certificate of candidacy has been filed before the COMELEC. More details in this report from Faith Del Mundo.
The dictator's son does not deserve to sit in the highest position in the land. This is the firm statement of some martial law victims as well as religious and youth right advocates as they filed a petition against the presidential bid of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The petition filed at the COMELEC yesterday is already the third one calling for the disqualification of BBM-COC. It was filed by Karma, or the Campaign Against the Return of the Marcoses and Martial Law.
And wishes to reclaim the presidency on wings of the perversion of history and all the lies, lahat ng kasinungalingan with which the Marcoses have corrupted the minds of generations of Filipinos. Sa kanyang certificate of candidacy, kanilang patuloy na pagyurak sa mga batas ng ating bayan para idikta, igiit, ipilit ang perverse delusion ng kanyang pamilya.
Based on Sections 4550 and Section 253C of the National Internal Revenue Code, any public officer or employee convicted and penalized under the NIRC is given a penalty of dismissal in government, perpetual disqualification from public office, and from participating in an election even as a voter.
He doesn't only been disqualified for moral turpitude. He is also disqualified because 3 years is more than enough time for you to be disqualified under the election code. Also, beyond that, you have our petition now, straight disqualification for a violation of the tax code, which calls for a disqualification for perpetual disqualification.
But even if Marcos Jr. was convicted during the 90s for not filing his ITR, he managed to win a seat at the Senate and even run as vice president. The petitioners said they also want to correct historical revisionism and the public's tendency to forget the atrocities caused by the Marcos family.
Sana po, COMELEC was more vigilant sana because hindi naman po ministerial lang yung kanilang trabaho. They can look beyond the filing of the candidacy and hopefully, kasi naman po yung sinasabi namin tong perpetual disqualification is no longer a question of fact. No, it is not something for discretion to look at compared to moral turpitude, which the Supreme Court has the final say, which crime or if the crime has moral turpitude. Dito po, wala na pong discussion or discretion dito. Kailangan lang po, it's a fact that he has been convicted. It's a fact that the conviction of the tax code carries with it the penalty of perpetual disqualification. So that po is no longer a factual issue. It's only a legal issue.
Like the first two petitions, the one filed by Karma also pointed out a misrepresentation on his certificate of candidacy.
Marcos Jr. answered one question with one big fat lie. Asked whether he was ever found liable for an offense which carries with it the accessory penalty of perpetual disqualification to hold public office, which has become final and executory, he replied, no, hindi. The fact is, convicted po siya. This is merely the latest act, pinakahuling maniobra, but obviously the final and desperate one sa kanilang patuloy na eskema na muling bawiin ang kapangyarihan and to completely turn history upside down.
Former Bayan Muna Representative Satur Ocampo says Marcos Jr.'s presence in Philippine politics is an attempt at revising history or even totally erasing what really happened during the martial law era.
Nag-exercise lamang ang aming civic responsibility bilang mulat na mga mamamayan. Kahit yung aming pagbubuo at paglahok sa karma ay ekspresyon ng isang civic responsibility na kinakailangan nilalason ang kaisipan ng mga botante, lalo na yung mga kabataan, para itago yung mga krimen panahon ng diktadurang Marcos. Ito raw mga petitions for disqualification ay trash, basura. Malinaw dun sa pinail namin petisyon ang argumento. Dapat naghabol si Marcos Jr. sa Court of Appeals.
But they posted a statement on the two prior cases filed by various groups to cancel his candidacy, saying that there is no merit and legal basis to the said petitions. For News 5, Faith Del Mundo, we are One News.
Now let's take a look at other developments on the political front. Senator Manny Pacquiao will make rounds at the Malabon market this morning as he continues to make his presence felt on the ground. And he'll also have a courtesy call with Mayor Antolin Oreta. Later in the day, presidential hopeful Senator Ping Lacson will make an appearance as a guest of honor at the 21st membership meeting of the Rotary Club of Manila. Meanwhile, presidential aspirant Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is also due to reveal his senatorial slate later today. Partido Federal ng Pilipinas Secretary General Thompson Lantion had earlier said that the party is considering to include President Duterte in their senatorial lineup. Meanwhile, President Duterte himself will lead the unveiling of 8 port projects in Occidental and Oriental Mindoro later today. These include the Port of Calapan, the Port of Mansalay, and the newly expanded Port of Abra de Ilog in Occidental Mindoro. Time now for the latest headlines from the pageant world. Miss Universe Philippines 2021, Beatrice Luigi Gomez was given her official send-off ceremony to the 70th Miss Universe competition. Her fellow 2021 queens were also present at the event, held at the Hilton Manila in Pasay, and the 70th Miss Universe pageant is set to be held in Eilat, Israel on December 13, Philippine time. Meanwhile, Cinderella Obenita returns to her hometown, Misamis Oriental, after bagging the Miss Intercontinental crown. The Queen posted photos of her homecoming parade on Instagram, thanking residents for their support and warm greetings. And the 25-year-old beauty is the Philippines' second Miss Intercontinental. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 9 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.